She was drug up there. And then he says, now, the law says we ought to stone her. What sayest thou? So he says, he that is without sin cast the first stone. Amen. And he went back to writing on the ground. And when he looked up again, the only one standing there was the woman. So we see how God gives commandments, and it is punishable if we fail to do. Christ will give us a commandment, but he will also add some grace in there. He rules. Oh, he no doubt he rules. He rules, but he does so diligently. As the Lord tells us, he that bears rule, do so diligently. Do it with knowledge. As Minister Dave said, he had to learn as time go on certain ways in which to respond or react or to relate. And it's a thing of understanding the woman, the female. She's not as hard as the man is. They are soft. Sometimes they can be hard. They can be harsh. They can be very, like Elder said, you'll have a pill on your hand. One that is not meek and quiet. Because the Lord says that a woman is supposed to have a meek and a quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God is of great price. But
so how do we prevent them from getting,
well, it's one thing you got to understand. You can never force a person to do anything. And I've learned that just speak the word and leave it alone. Speak the word, leave it alone, then God will deal with the situation. Because you can't force them. Because usually when you try to force, that turns the tables a bit to the degree who you can't make me. I'm not a child that you make me. How many of you heard that say, I'm not a child that you can't make me do such and such and such? No, we can't. So if there's something that needs to be done or something that you want done, just speak the word and leave it alone. And guess what? The Lord will take care of it. No doubt. Because you are the head. If the house needs to be cleaned, or certain thing, like I got a certain place in my room that I like for it to stay clean. That's my side of the room. That's my side of the room, you know. And sometimes things begin to creep in there. They begin to creep in there. You see what I'm saying? Creep. They don't come all of a sudden. They begin to creep. And I look up one day and I see, and I said, now, we talked about that corner right there. That's my side. And then I'll see it disappear. And every now and then, all of a sudden, I'll see something creep back in there again. And so sometimes you have to remind people of things. I mean, you know, like Peter says, stir up your mind by pure way of remembrance. Because if you don't, you have a tendency to forget. And we all have a tendency to forget. We are human to the degree that we forget. But one thing about God, he neither slumbers nor do he sleep. And he is not a man that he should forget. When he says something is to be done, believe you me, it's going to be done. Now watch this. I wanted to share this with you. I want to break this in. Because the question came up with one of my readers about this obedience thing. And if you notice in Genesis, that the Lord says that your desire shall be unto your husband, and he shall rule. Now, watch what it says over in Hebrews, the 13th chapter. 13:17. Watch what it says. Paul comes back and relates to what was written back in the day. In the 17th verse, obey them that what? That have the rule over you. So in the husband and wife relationship, who has the rule? The husband has the rule. So what is the wife supposed to do? She is supposed to obey he that hath the rule over her. And listen to what it says. For they what? Watch for your soul, as they that must give an account. Same thing being, but let's get back to the classroom. The teacher is responsible for the kids that have been assigned to her class. She's responsible for them while they're there. And if a kid gets up and just walks out of the class, she just can't say, bye. She must question, and then she must advise the principal that I got a kid that just walked out of my class. Because if she doesn't, the teacher does not, and something happens to that kid, if he happens to walk out the door and disappear and somebody picks him up, first thing the principal going to say was, why you didn't tell me? So there are rules and regulations everywhere we go. Every job place, there's rules and regulations. It's just like I was talking with one of the young lady, and I was telling her about being obedient. Now, it was interesting because we were talking, she says, the boss just told me that she wanted such and such on her desk and she wanted it done by noon. She said, so I've got to go. There's obedience. Now, if you can be obedient to the boss, why is it such a problem to be obedient to the husband? Here's the reason. Because the boss will fire you. The husband got to live with you. That's interesting. The boss can fire you. If the boss tells you to don't do something, it's just like Verizon. Verizon, they don't need nobody realistically. They'll tell you point blank. If you don't do it, you out the door. How quick, Sister Tamika? Seconds. Huh? Seconds. How quick? Real quick. I know I'll be talking to my wife sometime when she was at work. She said, oops, there's somebody else being ushered out the door. And one today. And then they would talk, what did she do? What did she do? What did she do? She failed to do something that was set up by the rules, the regulations. No, she talked back to the customer. That'll get you fired quick. Am I right, Sister Tawana? Sister Tawana, you talk back to the customer, and that person have to be listening on the line? How long did they wait the next day to take you out, or did they take you out then? The same day. Same day. That's Verizon. It's good to have a mute button. I mean, it's a great company to work for, but they got some rules and regulations that must be adhered to. If you don't adhere to these rules and regulations,